I'm Kate Baragona, and I graduated McGeorge JD 1990 in the Certificate of International Law program in 1991. As part of the McGeorge International programs, I went to the studies in Salzburg, Austria, and my internship ended up in London, England for a UK law firm that had never previously had a McGeorge LLM candidate. And as a result of that program, I was offered a full-time position. So I went back to London at the end of the LLM program, which is why I have a certificate, not an LLM. I went off to work. I became one of the first 5 Americans to qualify as a UK solicitor and eventually became a partner of that UK law firm and the head of their Brussels office. I am the Senior Infrastructure Finance Specialist for the World Bank for Middle East, North Africa. And what that means is I develop the financing structures and the risk mitigation support that is used by fragile, conflict, violence-affected countries to attract private sector investment into their power sectors. Absolutely. I think that the McGeorge International Program is the strength of what McGeorge offers globally. They have many kudos and wonderful awards for what they do domestically, but I think really what they do internationally and the careers that they provide people is one of the strongest and most unique attributes of McGeorge. And I recommend it highly everywhere I go. Not only was I prepared, but I was able to excel. Part of the reason I was able to secure the position that I did with the UK law firm and get hired on a permanent basis is a direct result of the courses I took at McGeorge. There was transnational business practice, there was international law, there was a program on specific types of asset-backed finance and leverage leasing that were taught by members of the International Board of Advisors and other members of the faculty. So when I ended up in a practical situation as an intern, the firm realized that they did not have to teach me about structures such as lease in, lease out, project finance, asset-backed financing. So I was able to hit the ground running. So a combination of my background in finance and what I learned from practical coursework with global practitioners. For example, the gentleman who taught me asset-backed financing was the general counsel of Dow Chemical, John Scriven. He wrote the textbook that we used, and so when I ended up in a situation where the firm I was interning with had a transfer pricing issue with the Supreme Petroleum Council of Abu Dhabi, I was able to jump right in and provide some of the cutting-edge advice because the firm had not met those issues before, and me coming right out of the McGeorge program was able to say, boom, 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 let's do this and that, which was successful for the client. The client then went from a £5,000 maybe a month to over £100,000, £200,000 a quarter for a longer term engagement. And the firm was able to immediately see by bringing me on board as a new member of the team with this international experience that it made good business sense for the firm. And as I said, I then eventually became a partner. I'm originally from New Orleans, Louisiana. Interesting thing about that, when I came to McGeorge as a JD student, McGeorge was predominantly California-based and Nevada-based. I think in my class that graduated in 1990, we started with 320 people. And of those 320, there were maybe 10 of us who were not from California and Nevada. And at the time, I was the first and the only from Louisiana, and we had a friend from Boston that was on our team. We had maybe 2 from New York, 1 from Philadelphia. So we were the international JD students who came from places other than California. And to a person, we all came because we were interested in the international programs, and we were able to launch careers based on the international instruction that we got from McGeorge, which was very cutting edge at the time. I live on a farm in rural Mississippi, but I work for the World Bank in Washington, D.C. We're now in the hybrid work schedule, so I spend most of my time on the farm when I'm not in the countries that I represent. So I work in Lebanon, Jordan, Yemen, Palestine. I've also worked in Iraq, other World Bank places that are considered fragile, conflict, and violent affected countries. What is the coursework and the strength of the school that is going to help you realize your personal dreams? I came to McGeorge very much attracted to the international. I never intended, and never have, acted as a litigant in domestic U.S. matters. I did end up making arguments before the International War Crimes Tribunal of the former Yugoslavia, but that's kind of a fluky thing. That's the only time I've ever been in court. I came to this school looking for the foundation to be able to have an international transactional career. Whether you're practicing as the general counsel, whether you are the legal counsel to your party to a transaction, I no longer act in the capacity as a lawyer. I'm as a government advisor and financial advisor for innovative structures. But the legal background helps me to manage the lawyers and to engage the lawyers that we need for the work we're doing. So I really think you need to look at what are your own personal dreams and aspirations, and how does the law school provide a foundation for you to realize that? How are they going to have courses, alumni connections, internship opportunities that will launch you toward that career that you dream of? As I said, they had the international programs. They were the #1 in international law. There was also, at the time, I was working on Wall Street in New York, and I had been accepted to the University of Chicago. I mentioned I'm from New Orleans. No one told me it snowed in Chicago. The brochure for McGeorge had 5 palm trees on the front of it on 5th Avenue. That's the first thing that caught my eye. Why would a Southern girl go anywhere other than California? When I was a student at McGeorge, the International Alumni Board members would come to the campus twice a year, and they were key influences to my realization and understanding of what an international law career would be. They were my first introduction to people who were doing what I dreamed of being. When I got to London and I was in a position to support other students and other parties in that dream through the International Board of Advisors, I was more than excited to participate. I've actually participated in the International Board of Advisors for maybe 28 years now. So I have quite a history from what it was back then to what it is now, and I'm very honored to be the current and the first female chair of the International Board of Advisors. And I think that the strongest thing about the International Board of Advisors right now is our contact with the students. I hope that we on the International Board of Advisors can make that same connection with students, LLM and JD, and show them that it is not such a long leap from your dream of international legal practice to the reality, because we indeed did it, and it is possible, and we are there to help you. Our biggest honor is to be able to mentor, connect with, and give back to international dreams what was given to us when we were in their position. When I was nominated to be the first female chair, the discussion was around diversity, and I point blank said, do not nominate me if you're nominating me because I'm a woman. Nominate me because at that time I had 26 years of service on the board. I have a legal career that is one to be envied, and I am willing to show others the path to that. But the fact that I am a woman should be the least interesting element about my career and the reason I'm the chairman of the board.